Hey guys, it's Jessie. Today I have my August wrap up. So I know we're a few days into September already and I'm running a little bit behind, but it has been an intense few days of September. As most of you know, we are packing up to move. That's why there's nothing on the bookshelves behind me. We boxed up pretty much my entire office over the weekend and we had a wedding and then I've been editing, so it's just been a lot to handle and I've barely picked up a book over the last 7 days, so that's a little disappointing, but I am going to share the great reads that I read in August with you. The first one that I read was Perfectly Good Crime by Deet Meserve, and this was so fantastic. It is a modern day Robin Hood story with these heists where there's over $20 million worth of luxury goods that are stolen from these estates, and it is really fantastic. There's a little bit of love, but a lot of mystery, and like I said, it's just a really enjoyable quick read that had me turning the pages. I was instantly addicted to these heists and figuring out who this Robin Hood was, and I just think it wrapped up really nicely as well. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. If you'd like to see the full review, the link is below. Next up is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, and this was an amazing book. It was so powerful, so beautiful, and I highly recommend this one. I did give it a 5 out of 5 as well, and I do not want to go really into depth with this because I feel like if I give you too much, it just gives away the whole storyline. This is about a girl named Lily who has a very difficult childhood and has this friend that she kind of connects with that seems to make things a little bit better temporarily. His name is Atlas, and once he leaves, she is again left alone. But as she grows up, she soon finds herself in Boston. She buys her own business, starts up this flower shop, meets this guy named Ryle, and again, we kind of end up in this love triangle between Atlas and Ryle, and I absolutely adored Atlas. He is one of my favorite guy characters like ever, and then we have Ryle, who is a little more difficult to handle. It was a very, very difficult book to read. It dealt with a lot of issues, and like I said, it was just a powerful read that was really beautiful, and I highly recommend it. There's also a full review for this, so if you're interested in a little bit more, click below. Next is Southern Solstice by Sarah Sadler, and this was sent to me by Sarah, and it was such an enjoyable read. I love anything to do with the South and that lifestyle, and so I immediately was just taken into this book. And it is about this girl named Larkin who is actually living in Seattle with her fiance when he suddenly calls everything off and she is left heartbroken and alone, and her mother shows up and swoops her back over to Charleston, South Carolina, where she is immediately dropped back into her old way. And they are a very well-to-do family. They do a lot of social events, and she's not quite ready for all of it, but her mom kind of throws her into it. So again, she ends up meeting this guy from her past who she was really, really in love with, and his name is Jackson, and so while they're kind of getting to know each other again, she ends up wanting to do something more for herself. So she gets this job, starts working for this guy named Miles, and again we find ourselves in another love triangle. So I definitely think there was a lot of layers to this book. Besides this love triangle, we peeled back a little bit on Jackson, we get to know Dr. Miles a little bit more, and then there's the mother, who is just a whole nother complicated situation in itself, and we figure things out along the way. So pretty soon she is left to choose between the two guys, and I loved how this all came together. It definitely left me shocked and surprised in a few places because I thought I had it all figured out, and there were definitely some twists that I did not see coming. So I really appreciated that. And there is a spin-off to this that just got released yesterday called Southernmost. I do have a copy and I can't wait to get into it. Sarah is a fantastic writer, and I just adored this storyline. I gave this a 5 out of 5. So those were the 3 books I read in August, and on top of those 2, I also read 2 comics. So I read Rat Queens Volume 2, which is the far-reaching tentacles of Nyrog? I don't even know how to say that guy's name, and I gave this a 5 out of 5. I definitely have loved getting to know these 4 girls, and I like that they are these awesome chicks who are so powerful and have, again, these layers to their characters. And in the first one I was a little confused as to some of their backstory, but in this one we kind of peel some of that back and we do get to see a little bit more about where these girls are coming from, how they all came together, and I really think it added to the depth of this story. So I'm definitely loving this series and really appreciating it. Just watch out, there is some graphics and language that is not totally expected. I guess you should kind of be able to tell, but just a heads up for that. Again, something I can't wait to continue, and I have volume 3, so I will definitely be reading that soon. A more in-depth review of these comic books will be coming soon, so just stay tuned, subscribe, and be sure to get the update as soon as that comes out. Then there is Lumberjanes Volume 4, and this one is Out of Time. I only gave this one a 4 out of 5 just because I wasn't as thrilled by it as some of the others. What I did really like is we are starting to get a little bit more backstory to this camp that they are at, and I really appreciate that each girl has these strengths that really helps the entire group out. I love that, and I love that there's these, some of these exclamations that these girls use are actually women's names that are like these big historical women, and so Googling them, because I had never heard of some of these people, and learning a little bit there, so I like that it's a little bit educational as well. So again, we are still battling mystical creatures. What I really liked though was the fact that we get to know Rosie, and there's this new character, Abigail, that comes into the picture that deals with Rosie's past, so it was great to kind of see that kind of past part, and I think it was really well done. The creatures were a little odd in this one, definitely towards the ending, and then Joe brought up this great question about the timing of all of this, where they feel like they have been there for weeks at a time. Come to find out they've only been there for less than a week. So I think that definitely intrigued me right towards the end. Like I said, there just wasn't quite enough to keep me totally addicted to it, and not enough like funny pieces for me that I really enjoyed it and would give it a 5, but I definitely think it is a great series, and I'm looking forward to the next volume. Alright guys, so that is everything that I read in the month of August, and I'm really happy with everything I read. They were all really great. Like I mentioned, they were all 4 and 5 stars, so definitely a great month. Not as much reading as I would have liked to do, but definitely we'll see how September goes. It's already, 7 days in, and it's been pretty busy, so I'm not sure how far I will get either, but I will have a TBR for you guys shortly, so stay tuned, and thank you for tuning in today, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!